We got a little circle thing going. All right. We are live. Welcome to the Joe Kilgallon Podcast, everybody. I don't know if you know that, my guest, Toby, but I renamed it the Joe Kilgallon Podcast because I figured maybe people would Google search Joe Rogan and be like, I'll check this guy out instead. So I'm just trying to steal some of his $100 million Spotify money is what I'm trying to do, really. But everyone, welcome. Yeah, it's not a bad move. I'll give you a proper introduction in a second. Everyone, welcome to the podcast. This podcast where I like to hang out and basically shoot the shit with my friends, kind of same conversations you'd have at the pub or the bar with your buddies. And yeah, we have a good time. We get a little silly. Sometimes we get deep. Because sometimes you gotta get deep with your friends. That's how we do it. But today is a very special occasion. We are podcasting in celebration. My third comedy album called I Didn't Say Anything Bad is currently #1 on the iTunes comedy charts, and you could also watch it on YouTube. And my guest today is the man who made it look good. He was the director, the cinematographer, the everything with the film, the one and only, also a hilarious comedian too, Toby McMullen. What's up, Toby? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, dog? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, good to see you. I haven't seen you in months.
I know, man. Congrats on #1, dude. That's killer.
Thanks, dude. It feels good. It feels good. Everyone, if you're watching this on YouTube, just watch it on YouTube. You don't have to. If you want to buy the album, go ahead. I'd really appreciate that because times they are tough. And anyhow, though, but Toby, man, it's good talking to you. Are you in Connecticut or are you in New York?
Dude, I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut, man. How's that going?
It's, we're locking down. It's me and my girlfriend. We're staying at our folks' place with their dog and our cat who's hanging by this window here. So it's, we're making the best of it. We're doing it. It's been, I miss hugging my friends.
Yeah, dude, the hugging thing I don't think hugging's going to happen for a while. I feel like next time I see you, people do that elbow shit people are going to do.
I don't know what, dude. This I gotta say is pretty great though. Even just talking to anyone outside of the immediate circle I've been hanging with for the last couple months.
I had an old friend of mine, one of my oldest friends in the world, Michael Pecco. If you're listening, what's up, man? He came by last night. I put a TV, an old TV. It's like a 15-year-old TV, but it's nice. It's like 40 inches. Samsung. I put it in my garage and set up Nintendo 64. So he came over and we played some Mario Kart.
Dude, yes.
Dude, it was a lot of fun. Mario Kart 64 is my favorite of all the Mario Karts.
Dude, I bought an Xbox.
How's that going for you?
Dude, I haven't been into video games in 10 years and I'm so addicted. There's this new Call of Duty that came out that I got, and I was playing it on Sam's computer for like a day, and then I was like, "Fuck this!" And I went and bought my own Xbox, and I've been getting like pro gaming controllers, dude. I'm a complete psycho about it.
I love it, but like it's the thing. I've been telling people, I go, look, I know money's tough, so not everyone can do it, and we're speaking from a little bit of privilege or whatever the fuck it is, but you got to treat yourself. I think during these tough times, we upgraded our TV to a pretty big TV. It was on sale, but it was a nice 65-incher. So I took the old TV, and I'm like, yeah, well, if movie theaters aren't going to be a thing for a while, I want to watch stuff on a bigger screen, especially if I'm all cooped up inside.
Hell fucking yeah, dog.
Right. And then we took the other TV, I put it in the garage, I was playing Mario Kart, I was playing WCW NWO Revenge, all these classic 64 games. I have a Nintendo Mini. And so like I gotta modernize them. My buddy's giving me shit going like, dude, there's like better graphics. He's trying to sell me on all the new stuff. Well, I just like to kick it old school.
Well, I've been playing online with my buddies. That's been like my way of hanging out with my friends,
See, yeah, that part's nice. I wonder how good the internet is in the garage though. I feel like an old man hanging out in the garage, drinking and
that's great.
Playing video games.
Fucking smoking cigars.
You could, yeah, we could. But that's why I kind of set it up. I'm like, it's summer, it's outdoors in a sense. You could put the garage door open and then it feels a little bit safer. Nobody's coughing on each other. I had the chairs a good 5-6 feet apart, so we're all right there.
Yeah, I've had a couple homies telling me that they've been like hanging, but like keeping a little, distance between each other and stuff. But I don't know, dude. We've just been locked down, dude. It's just been the four of us. I haven't hung or done anything with anyone except for the trip we made back to Chicago to grab the last of our shit. But I mean, other than that.
Dude, that's still heartbreaking. You care if I talk about that a little bit?
No, yeah, go for it. I don't give a shit. No, yeah, go for it.
Poor Toby and his awesome girlfriend, Samantha Berkman. hilarious comedian. Everyone should check her out. She's been on the podcast a couple times, I believe.
Yeah, she's
and
good.
They had an apartment together, real cool spot. They go home after being away. And what were they away for? I'm sure Samantha wouldn't mind me saying. Samantha had cancer in her toes, right? But I'm thinking it was in the lymph nodes too or whatever.
Yeah, it spread. But it's all good now.
So all good now. Hell yeah. We're all happy to hear that. And she's got great material about missing a toe now. So that's
fun. She does.
I saw her set before. I think she went back to have like another surgery or something. And it was killer. It was all killer material.
Yeah, it was right before her surgery. She did that. And it was so funny. So funny.
Yeah, so good. And so anyway, they come back home to get some stuff from, being in Connecticut where her parents are and everything, and place completely robbed.
Yeah.
What was it like? I've never walked into like a scene, because you see that shit in like TV shows and movies where they walk into their apartment and like the couch cushions are flipped over and everything's torn apart. What was it like when you walked in?
Dude, it wasn't like that at all. That's the fucked up part. It was just my camera shit that was taken. So it was like we walked in and I was like, oh, I thought I left it right here. It must have been somewhere else. And then I like looked all over the apartment and then I saw that the side door had been forced open. And then I was like, oh, fuck. They came and because I had the way it went down was I left to come to New York with Sam so she could have her surgery, and then I was going to be here for a few days and then go back, and I had a bunch of shoots in Chicago I was going to do with some like pretty excellent comics I was really excited to work with. And then the COVID shit started popping off that weekend. Like the Friday I was supposed to fly back, it was the Thursday before that they started shutting everything down, that like gigs started getting canceled, everything. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just, go get my shit in a few weeks or whatever once this dies down, not realizing that it was going to be, like a month and a half that we were gone. So yeah, I just came back. It was all gone. But this actually the funny part is, so like we had left in such a rush that the apartment was a total shithole, right? There was like dirty dishes out and shit. So when the cops came in, the cop like opens the door and I'm showing her where they came in and she's like looking around. They're like, oh, they really trashed the place, huh? And I was like, oh yeah, they fucked it up. But
those bastards.
Yeah, they came in and ate some ramen and left the fucking dish in the sink.
How much total like money in camera gear do you think was taken?
Oh, dude, like
I'm sure you did the math on that.
It was like $6,000 or $7,000.
Jesus, $6,000 or $7,000.
Yeah.
And what's even more painful is that, I mean, I didn't bother you guys to buy. I think I texted you to be like, hey man, that really sucks. But you guys are like 99% sure it was someone you knew because they specifically took the camera stuff and nothing else.
Oh, 100% it was someone who knew. We think it was a comic, like, because they knew, because we used to throw these big parties every week, like every Monday. You came to one.
Yeah.
And so like everyone in Chicago comedy knew where we lived. Sam ran a show across the street. Everyone knew our apartment, So they came and that's what they came for. You know what I mean? But then the incredible thing is, Sam, I was so bummed, and just like, because we drove through the fucking wasteland, Mad Max style, me, her, and her dad. I don't drive because I'm a fucking scumbag. So I'm just in the back being a fucking sack of potatoes while they handle this, 12-hour drive or whatever it is. And we pull up and I'm just like, oh man, it's been months. All I've wanted is just to have my camera shit. I've been so worried about it. I had tried to get homies to come by and like grab it. But then it was like, I couldn't get them the keys. Then they were worried about the COVID, so they didn't want to travel in the city or whatever. And you had to walk in and have it gone. I was just like, fuck. But we just packed up all of our shit. We just started, the original plan was to be there for like 3 days and like slowly pack stuff up, try and see some people, safely or whatever. And we were just like, definitely. Fuck this. And we just started just throwing everything out. And Sam posted like, yo, Toby got robbed. This is Venmo if anyone could help out. And my fucking phone did not stop buzzing for 2 days. It was insane.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
So I was able to, like, every comedian in Chicago, people from other parts of the country, friends, family, all reached out, and I was able to replace everything. It was unbelievable.
That's fantastic. Still, part of you wants justice, right?
Oh yeah, dog.
So do you know specifically who it was? You probably can't say on air for legal reasons, but if I know some guys, we can talk to some other guys, we can make some shit happen.
That's the other thing, is that it's like, I've just tried to just be zen about it, because it's like, there's no way to prove it. They've already sold the shit. I checked eBay and Craigslist and gave the cops the serial numbers and shit, which is like they're fucking useless. I don't know if you've seen some protests about that. But
I have not. What's going on? People are upset with the police?
Yeah, no. Cops, I guess. I saw a great status that was like, if we get rid of the police department, who's gonna show up to my apartment 7 hours after I'm robbed and shrug their shoulders? And I was like, that is fucking.
Well, dude,
accurate.
I had a clip like from the podcast like over a year ago. I had Tito Ortiz, the comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the podcast, and I was telling him that by far, because we grew up in a neighborhood and we know a lot of people who became cops because that's just like our high school. Right. And we're basically saying that the most important of all like the city jobs is garbage men by far, because firemen, there's barely fires anymore because of like it used to be back in the day you had too many things plugged in and then shit would burn up and you called the fire department.
Right.
I'm not saying the fire department isn't.
No, they're super useful. When it gets gnarly, they handle it. But it's 90% foosball and chili with those guys. They're hanging. Yes. They're hanging with their boys. That's why everyone wants that job. Yeah, shoot free throws, games of horse all day long, fucking brats. It's a dream job. It is, and there's you have to avoid a fire. Like I read a stat saying that the average fireman, or there's 4 major fires a year, and the average fireman doesn't even see it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, maybe 1 year that fireman might get into it, but then like 7 years later, he'll get into another major fire. And it's just, it's a much safer job because technology is better and shit doesn't burn up as quickly. Anyhow, cops, like we were talking about, typically show up after the crime was already committed, right? With a notepad going like, fucking these things never turn up, So, yeah,
but garbage men, though.
Let's go get free hot dogs,
Right? Yeah.
The garbage guys.
Free shit.
Fuck yeah.
I worked at a hot dog vendor at a park in Chicago, Portage Park, for like a little bit, where it was just like a little stand, hot dogs and bags of chips and, Starburst and stuff like that, cans of pop, Gatorade. And the cops would eat free.
Of course.
So the guy who owned it was just like, if any cop comes, just give it to him for free.
Fucking
it's like, whatever. You would like, look, and I know some cop friends, and some of you are good, but you need to speak the fuck up a little bit more and point out the bad ones. Because in comedy, we're pretty good at that. In comedy, if someone steps out of bounds, everyone's all over that fucking person. So
yeah, like some people in the news this week.
Yeah, I just want to go on record. I don't like. I'm not. I don't think either of us are a big fan of like cancel culture.
Fuck no, I don't back it at all. But you can't just fuck kids.
No, well, I don't think he fucked any kids. So for those people who don't know, Chris D'Elia, is it D'Elia or D'Elia? I've never known. Look, I'll say this: I've met him a handful of times, and he was a really nice guy to me.
Yeah, it's because you weren't 16.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's true. I don't like dumping all over someone. But from what I read, it was he was grooming. I guess grooming is a term where you message underage girls so that way when they're 18 you could bang them. I guess you're like grooming them along. I think that's what it is. I could be completely fucking wrong.
We don't. Neither of us know shit about it, but it's just it's just kind of crazy.
No, it is pretty crazy with the whole. So everyone's not everyone, but most of Twitter is getting rid of freaking Chris D'Elia and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I'll say about it was because again, I don't like piling it on just for anybody. I think I'm just I have too much empathy in that situation or sympathy. I forget the two. And I thought about the last 17-year-old I hit on, I married. So pretty good there. We're only 5 months apart in age. Yeah, I did. I married my high school sweetheart. So I'm in the clear there. I don't have to worry about any of that shit.
That's fucking funny. Dude, do you still feel funny? I don't think I'm funny anymore. This is the first. I refuse to do Zoom comedy shows. I think that is a travesty. I think it's an affront to the art form. I think it's insulting to the audience and the performer. I can't do it. I haven't done any podcasts. This is the first thing I've done in months, bro. So I apologize to your audience. I'll be funny in about 45 minutes when we're wrapping up.
No, yeah. Dude, I don't know if I'm stand-up funny. I actually got booked for a couple things this past week. So I'm like,
oh, where are you going?
All nearby, like outside of the city though. Like
just
one's like
VFW halls where people just don't give a fuck. Just smoking inside.
I think a couple comics we know booked me for the one show, and then that club out in Downers Grove, CG's Comedy Club.
Oh,
it's not until October. It's an October date.
Right.
So and the other one's like later July. Gina Bader says to smoke more, Toby.
Oh, nice.
That
Yeah,
might be
hell
funny.
yeah. Oh,
It usually makes people a little silly.
Oh, it's not weed. I'm a huge narc. I'm sober now. I'm a drug addict.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's sober. I knew, dude. I knew you didn't drink alcohol, but I wasn't sure if you didn't smoke weed or not.
No, I haven't done anything in like over 2 years. Yeah,
and you've been killing it since, so it works for you, you know?
Dude, I was gearing up to like really just be fucking dunking on life. I was like ready to move to New York. I had a bunch of shit lined up. I was so hyped, and now I'm just
think about
the
this
apartment
way,
with the cat, man.
Well, think of it this way. I think you're going to be even more in demand when things come back. Because when things come back, so many comics are going to be like, I got to step up my game now, because we're going to really have to step up our game as comedians. Because I think a lot of the big names who would sell out theaters, I think theaters aren't going to be, no one's going to rush to open those. If the NFL, which is, you know, a $15 billion industry, if they're planning a season with no fans, what do you think the Chicago theater where Chris D'Elia used to perform is going to be like? You know, like, dude. Or where like Joe Rogan or Bill Burr.
That's what
those guys might.
Some of the
comics smaller venues.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
And then that's going to push guys like me down that used to do those venues to like, I have to figure something else out now, I think.
Dude, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be on stage is. And it's like, and I just didn't think about it and for the longest time. And then I was driving with Sam and I like jokingly said a line from one of my jokes. This was like 2 weeks ago. And I got so fucking sad, dude. I was like, damn, that's a good ass bit. I can't say that shit. Have you been writing though? Have you been working on?
I really haven't like sat down to try to write, but that's never been my style. I've got about 4 bits. I've got 4 bits where I'm excited about. One, everybody, because for those of you who aren't aware of my writing process, not really a process, I guess. I think of something funny. My brain's created a filter where I could know, oh, that's for stand-up. That'll be good for the stage. Yeah. And then I kind of jot down whatever like that title would be. Like on an album, you have the back of the album is full of the track titles. That's what I kind of will jot down. I'll open up the Notepad app on my phone and write down 2 or 3 words. And I could read you. Maybe I did this on the podcast already, but I could read you one of I think a couple podcasts. Here's a couple of the joke titles. Where's the one?
I'm the same way where it's just like it'll be like, you know, animal fucker or, you know, like hot chocolate. And then that's like a 4-minute bit or whatever.
Fat Barbie.
Damn, hell yeah.
Fat Barbie, because I don't know if they have plus size Barbie now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and some people might be like, "What are you against it, Joe?" That's not what I'm saying with Fat Barbie, but I'll just give away a little bit.
I bet she's you know thick in the right places.
Yeah, dude, that's what people forget. That's what
I bet it's not Juggalo all gut no tits Barbie.
Oh no, that'd be awful, man. Nobody wants to. You know, people are saying, "Hey, don't hate yourself. Be comfortable with you. Love yourself." That's what body positive is supposed to be. But, you know, if someone, that's why I'm thinking it's going to be hilarious. You know, Lizzo is eventually going to drop 50 pounds. It's inevitable. She's already making posts like, hey, I'm just exercising for me, damn it. She's going to drop 50 pounds. And everyone's going to be like.
Not her doctor who's like, you have heart disease.
Yeah. And so people are going to turn on her. They're going to be like, Lizzo, you were an inspiration before. And she's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? I'm still an inspiration, damn it. It's going to be this whole back and forth thing where they're like, she's going to Oprah it up and go like Jonah Hill going back fat to skinny, you know.
Oh, yeah.
There are people who are technically overweight who are still in good shape. I'm not denying that, but there's just no way you could tell me it's healthier to have lean muscle versus being big. There's just I refuse to back any fake science on that.
What Barbie needs to do is they need to implement the Stretch Armstrong technology, and they need to have binge and purge Barbie, where you could make her fat and then she could get skinny, you know. But then she gets in a good relationship. She puts a couple pounds on. They break up. She tightens it up. You know what I mean? It gets in the gym trying to find some strange.
Gina Bader just posted, "Hey, stop talking about me." Gina. we don't believe you, Gina. I can tell by your profile picture we're not talking about you.
I can tell you that I have not done shit. I've been eating like fucking garbage. I got back into cookies and ice cream in a big way, dude. I
had ice cream cookies. I had an ice cream sandwich. You know, with the two, they had these M&Ms where it's like an ice cream sandwich, but they have M&Ms in them.
Dude, fuck
amazing.
Yeah.
So I just combined your cookies and ice cream right there.
Dude.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I'll give away a little bit of the Fat Barbie joke. Just a tiny bit, because I know you'd like the take on this. So let
me hear the angle.
So it's my cousin has daughters, and I was talking with him, and he was like, dude, it's bullshit, because I bought her like the overweight Barbie or the Fat Barbie, whatever they're calling her, and now I have to buy all these new clothes because Fat Barbie doesn't fit into the other Barbie's clothes that we already bought, because she already had regular size Barbies.
Yep.
So he's like, I thought all these woke people are pushing supply side economics. You know what I mean? All these socialists, we all need to be one and love each other. It's capitalist as fuck. All these ideas, because it's just the new version of these things. And so now, like, you know what I mean? And Fat Barbie doesn't come with a whole wardrobe of fat clothes. So it's got, it's a whole thing. And his daughters were getting mad because it's like, why isn't Big Barbie fitting into this sweater? And he's like, well, Big Barbie had self-esteem issues in college, and now that's just how that goes.
Some shit went sideways at a couple frat parties, and now she's wearing the size 12 pants. So
there you go. So, and now Daddy has to spend more money and work a couple extra hours at the mill. My cousin doesn't work at a mill. I don't know why I'm making it seem like that, but if I present this to everyday Americans, that's how you got to do it. Yeah, man. I haven't been really working out all that much either. I had like a week where I ate healthy. Like that's it, like 1 week. But it's hard. Yeah. Dude, I'm like. The thing that's changed about my life is not doing stand-up at night, because I was stay-at-home dad before, but then my wife would come home and I would go out and do stand-up. And the stand-up, I was looking at like a reward for being a good dad all day. All right, you're a good dad all day. Now you get to go be on stage and live this lifestyle for a few hours before you got to come home and get a little bit of sleep before you do it all over again. And 100%. I'm not getting the stand-up at night. So it almost reminds me of like people who've been following the podcast over the last like 10 weeks. I've been really referencing the Beatles a lot. My son got into the Beatles, so I started, when I get into something, I read a shitload about it.
Yeah.
I think what doomed the Beatles was they stopped touring in 1966 because the concerts were just ridiculous. People would scream the entire time, and they didn't have the technology to have the amps big enough. They like built special amps for the Beatles that were like invented for Beatles concerts. These like Vox 100 things. Yeah. There's a whole documentary called 8 Days a Week by, I think, Ron Howard. And it's about the Beatles touring years. And you see concert footage of them where they like George looks at Paul being like, I can't hear shit. I don't know. It wasn't even fun for them because it's just, and then they cut to the crowd and it's just 60,000 people screaming and fainting and got like, police officers were carrying people away because they like fainted or they tried to rush the field just to touch them. It was a true mania. And so then they stopped touring in 66 and they started putting out like 2 albums a year. Like the Beatles put out a shitload of music. Most bands, you put out an album, a couple of years later is your next album. They were doing 2 full-length studio albums like a year.
And one sheet of acid a day.
Yes, a lot of that. And I think because they didn't get the release, because a lot of bands, you're in the studio, you're working hard in the studio, and then the reward is to perform the music that you were just working on live.
Correct.
So they didn't really get to do that. Other than like maybe a TV appearance here or there, and I think that's just where they started like butting heads. And
they were just around each other too much. They didn't get to release. They didn't get the. Oh my god, those are like. Do you ever have stand-up stress streams where it's like you can't? The audience, the same thing. The audience is screaming, or there's like a weird wall in front of you, and you can't connect. That's got to be that, but reality. I can't imagine.
That was
trying to play and you can't hear the fucking drummer 5 feet away from you. It's got to be insane.
Ringo was on an interview with Howard Stern not that long ago where he said it'd get to the point where he would know changes based on what, like, he goes, Paul would do a little thing with the bass on a certain part of the song, and I would know, drum roll now. Like he would, because it was so insane they couldn't hear stuff.
Whoa.
And there was an interview once where George was like, I definitely wasn't playing the right song. But people were just, they didn't care. They saw us and they were happy.
They had never seen something that had been on the TV in person before, and it fucking blew their mind.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's what, and I see people give John Lennon a lot of shit lately because, we found out later on that he wasn't a good dad and stuff like that. And he like hit his first wife. And I'm not sticking up for that. But I also can't imagine what the pressure and the stress of being 23 years old and being the most famous person in human history up into that point. That's
yeah.
again, I'm not condoning bad behavior,
No.
but I think it's important to understand where bad behavior comes from and all that shit, you know?
Yeah, I don't think people understand what that is. I don't think anyone can deal with that.
No, man. I mean, dude, it's so funny you mentioned stand-up dreams because I actually had my first one recently in a while. As a comic, I wouldn't have like a lot of them, but like every like 10 days would be a dream where I'm doing stand-up. And so many of the dreams is me trying to get the crowd in the room. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that background you got there. I don't give a shit. But so many of my stand-up dreams, so many dreams that where I'm doing stand-up, it's a show that's like badly produced.
Yep.
And it's my turn to go on stage. And as I start to talk, like half the audience starts to leave immediately, or they're just seated in the wrong spot. Their backs to me. They're not listening. Another aspect of those stand-up dreams is that I'm way late. Like someone's like, dude, you're supposed to be on stage an hour ago. Where are you? And I'm like, oh shit. And they're like, yeah, the audience has been waiting. And I'm like, the audience has been waiting for an hour? Oh, they're going to hate me. Why would I go on? Stuff like that. I don't know what that's about.
I've had ones where I'll be on stage and I'll be getting heckled, and the heckler will like be really nailing me, just like you were a fucking nerd in high school. Nobody likes you. And then I'll like wake up and I'll be like, oh my God, my brain was fueling the lines for that heckler. Like I fucking hate myself, I think.
Oh, dude, that's deep.
Yeah, isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, it is fucked up, man. Isn't it crazy as you get older, you're smart enough to figure out why something is a thing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
Like I'll never
thinking about that.
I'll never forget being 12 years old and watching Winnie the Pooh, and then there's the kangaroo characters, Kanga and Roo, and I was like, oh, kangaroo. I put it together, and I was like, blew my fucking mind, dude.
I think I have kangaroo around here somewhere. I'm in my kids' play area is right behind me. Everyone, you can see like a whole mess of fucking toys behind me and shit.
Yeah, I'm opening this loft. I can't show you. I'm not wearing pants right now, which is the dopest part about this podcast. First time I've ever been able to pull that off. It's pretty sweet.
So let's go back to the idea of what comedy is going to be in live. Like I have not done any Zoom shows. I've been asked to do a couple. I've said no. I was polite about it. I wasn't like, fuck that. I don't want to do it.
No.
And look, and I've said this before, if people want to do them, they could do them. It's just not for me. I need the live interaction. I need that thing. And
I literally leave a chunk at the beginning of my act to like riff on the room or like talk to the crowd or be like, hey, your shirt sucks. And it's like, what? I'm going to look at the box and be like, hey, Karen, your fucking house is weird. You know what I mean? Like, that's awful and weird.
Yeah. I think that's why those Zoom shows are probably for comedians who consider themselves writers first. We know a lot of comedians are like, I'm a writer. You know, that's their whole thing.
Can I be really real about those Zoom shows?
Sure.
I think that those Zoom shows are completely about ego. They have nothing to do with comedy, and it's people trying to. My friend Kevin put this perfectly. He said it's all about people trying to hold on to imaginary status inside of this, fake world of comedy, where they want to stay relevant because they've realized that they have absolutely nothing outside of stand-up. They've put their entire life into it, and they're not getting the validation that they need to feel like the pursuit of the thing that they've done every night has been worthwhile, and that they aren't completely fucked, which we all are, and they're unwilling to cope with the reality that they have nothing.
Wow. Dude, I think you're fucking hammer hitting the goddamn head of the nail right there. Dude. For real. That's your friend Kevin's a smart guy. Is Kevin a comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he's right because as you were explaining what he was hypothesizing, there's a smart word. It made me think of how many times I'll see someone make a post. The big thing in stand-up comedy over the last 2 years is someone will share a picture of themselves, and on the picture is all their upcoming dates. Yeah. I'll be here. Regular people, like any fan, it's just going to scroll right by that anyway. And because they want to see,
they don't have anyone who does that does not have fans.
Yeah, the people who are doing that the most are doing that basically to tell other comedians, "Hey, I'm working. I'm in demand. Yes. Maybe you should book me too." I guess that's not a bad strategy, but it is feeding the ego. And I'm seeing a lot of that with here are my Zoom shows coming up.
Gross.
And they're like, listing them up.
Gross. So you should take this time to expand your shit, get your podcast popping, fucking get your album #1 on iTunes, maybe put in some work in other aspects to sharpen your game and broaden your horizons in other areas is what I would say.
Yeah. I've got a couple show ideas like for YouTube, for my YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm trying to invest, just did the taxes. So hopefully we can get a return. Hopefully.
Oh fuck. I still got to do mine.
Yeah. Till July 15th. So it's no rush, but,
oh, okay, good. I thought it was in June sometime. I have not been paying attention.
No, they backed it up to July 15th. They gave everyone like a 3-month extension. I bet they back it up a little more even though, but if you get it done, you can still get the money. That's what someone told me. And I'm looking to like reinvest, like, I want to start shooting the podcast on 4K cameras. I mean, this stream is fine for now, but I got to step up the game. And I have some YouTube series shows, but with everything going on in the world right now, I got to wait for things to die down to start them. Not that they're race related or anything like that, but it's just kind of, hey, I'm looking for guests for a new series about this subject. It's just people might be like, hey, Joe, we're trying to, we got a revolution out there.
Yeah, dude, I've been off social media. I deleted Instagram from my phone. I haven't been on Facebook in forever. I unplugged myself, dude. I was like, fuck all this shit.
I think that's kind of smart to do. I was doing a thing. I didn't do it this past weekend, but I was doing a thing for a while where I was taking the weekend off of Facebook. And I don't go on Facebook as much. I know we're live streaming on Facebook right now. As far as like scrolling, I try to just not do that because you'll find yourself getting mad. I found myself one morning getting annoyed about something and I was mad and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I upset? I got my 2 sons. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old to take care of right now. And I'm letting a post from someone I barely know affect me.
Yeah.
I'm letting it affect my day. That's crazy. Dude, and Twitter, and what happens is, so like we were talking about before, we referenced the Chris D'Elia situation. If people aren't aware of that, Google that. And again, none of us are sticking up for that behavior.
Nah.
But I saw someone call him a rapist, and I'm like, he hasn't been accused of that. I go, that's a big allegation. You can't say,
that shit does bother me.
Because they try to lump them all together. Remember when they did that with Al Franken? They're like the Al Frankens and the Harvey Weinsteins. I'm like, whoa. Those two are not in the same boat. Al Franken took some pictures where he pretended to feel someone up where Harvey Weinstein should be in prison the rest of his life. He like a legit raped people. That 100%. You can't compare those.
100%. There's the dude. This made me go crazy because I'm not on Twitter. I've never had a Twitter, but I did go through that big Twitter thread of all the reposting all the shit about D'Elia, and then there were a bunch of them that were like, I was 21, I DM'd him as a joke, and then he responded and was weird and like tried to get me to hang out, and I was like, no, you don't count. You are a full-blown alcohol purchasing adult. You DM'd him not as a joke. That's not a joke. I fucking know what jokes are. Like, get out of here with that. You don't get to. This isn't about you. That's like what I say to Sam. I was like, oh, that's like a look at me too. You know what I mean?
Look at me too. Hashtag look at me too.
Yeah. It's like, nah, dude.
See,
get
this
out of
is
here
shit
with that.
we need still though. We need comedians like still trying to find some humor in these tough subjects. I had one where I was scrolling through all of it, and a woman popped in, and I was like, hold on, because I've seen the pictures of all the other women. They're all women now, everybody. They're all like in their 20s and they're attractive. You are ugly as hell. And I can't imagine in just the 3 years from 17 to 20, everything went downhill for you. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being a bad guy here, but I'm like, that one doesn't seem like it fits.
I don't know. I've gained about 20 pounds during this quarantine, so anything can happen, Joe.
Yeah, it's very true. That's big. Hey, Sam Norton's a fan. Sam Norton said hashtag look at me too is hilarious. But that does yeah, right. Sam's a good dude. I feel like that does take away from like a movement when you're pushing it to make it seem like whatever he did was worse. What he did was bad. No one's denying that. As a grown man who has like a celebrity status to like prey on younger girls and that's bad. It's a bad move, right? You don't have to make it even more horrific. It stands on its own to be bad. And another thing, it's like a lot of comedians who never liked his act anyway, they're using this to like almost push their own name. Being like, I always thought he wasn't funny anyway. I'm like, look, his style isn't my cup of tea, but dude, I lived in LA for 3.5 years. And other than Bill Burr, nobody killed harder than him.
That's what everybody
Nobody
said.
killed.
That's what everybody said.
And I know guys who were on his same Just for Laughs back in 2010, and
I don't
they said he destroyed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'm a writer. I don't move on stage, so like that guy's a rapist. Like, what the fuck?
Well, it is funny to me too that when they're like, "Oh, couldn't you just tell that Chris D'Elia was a creep? Look at him." I've found that the people who don't look like that, the people who have like the glasses and the backpack and like, the guys who look like they write for The Onion are usually pretty fucking creepy too.
Yeah,
They're usually the ones that are, fucking sniffing girls' feet while they sleep and shit. I don't know.
100%,
It
100%.
goes both ways.
Yeah,
I think
people just suck. People suck. I think people
They
are
do.
inherently bad. Like when people are like, the good of humanity. I'm like, there is no good. Politicians eat kids and fuck babies, like whatever. Everyone is the devil. And then people are like, can you believe that this guy did this horrible thing? I'm like, yeah, easily, so easily. It blows my mind that people think people will be good in any scenario ever.
Yeah, that is that. Oh God, that is the most overused phrase where they say, I'm just so surprised. Really? Well, have you not been paying fucking attention? It's why I never liked the phrase "I'm woke." It implies that you were sleeping. Like, did you really you're woke now? Did you not think racism existed before? You're just discovering it now. Like if I were black or Hispanic or any marginalized group, and a bunch of like white knights were saying like, no, I'm woke. I'd be like, get the fuck away from me. You're woke. That's just that term. I can't. It's okay, I think, for other people. Like if black people were to call a white, this is my friend, Toby, he's woke. I think that's fine. But for you as a white person,
much rather
say
have
you're
them call
woke.
me the N-word.
Yeah,
Easily. Well, that's like my favorite thing any of my black friends have ever done to me.
it really is, because it makes it feel like, oh yeah, we're cool.
It's
right?
so fun, and I always point it out too. I'm always like, that's great, thank you.
Definitely. There is certain stuff that like I don't care. Like if your black friend says it, you just trust it more. There's certain groups that have I guess these are stereotypes, and people try to act like, not all stereotypes are bad though.
No,
There's
a
like
lot of them are
stereotype
really fun.
They're fun, and some of them they're almost like complimentary in a way.
Yeah.
So both of my sons, we didn't know the sex of the baby. We were going to be surprised. We didn't find out, boy or girl. We obviously never would have done like that. Let's fucking hit a balloon. Is it pink or blue? And we don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I love those people who've started like forest fires for their gender reveal. That is so funny to me, dude. It's like, what you were doing is already a crime against humanity, and now it's killing fucking whole species of. Oh, it's great.
It is hilarious, man. Those are like the worst people.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't know, and I remember we were at a Kids R Us because we had to pick out some baby stuff. This was my first son, and woman in front of us in line was an older black lady, and she turned around and she was like, "Oh, congratulations, you're having a boy." And then we're like, "Oh, actually, we don't know. We're gonna be surprised." And she's like, "You're having a boy." I'm like, if she says it, we're having a boy. There's just because I trust the wisdom of an older black woman. Now, saying that is a compliment, right? I don't know. I think there's some stereotype about like older black women having like an inherent wisdom with certain things like that. It's like that Seinfeld episode where George took advice from the woman, or George's mother took advice because they thought she was Chinese because it was like an over the phone thing. You ever see that Seinfeld episode?
Yes.
Yeah, like she ended up, Donna Chang was her name, but she ended up being a white woman. So then everyone's like, "Oh, well, I want nothing to do with you now." You were Chinese, we believed you. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just there's certain stuff like that. I think that if we can embrace that, like in each other's cultures, I think it would get people together more often.
Yeah, hell yeah. All of my friends of different, sexual orientations or trans or whatever their background is, all we do is shit on each other for it, and it's the most fun. It's so fun.
Oh yeah.
And the people who can't have fun with that shit, I want nothing to do with you. You do not interest me at all. If I can't talk about how you're fat or your ears are too big or that you suck dicks or whatever, we can't be friends. You know what I mean? And then you can be like, hey, you look like fucking Carrot Top or whatever, you stupid Irish bastard. And that's great. I love it.
I love it too. And I feel like that's what a lot of the comedy community has. And that's what real people have too. That world only doesn't exist on the internet, and they don't want it to exist on the internet. That's Twitter. They think you can't do any jokes like that with each other. They want to stop all that stuff. and I think that's wrong. I think that's going to hurt any, I think this whole theme of this podcast is me telling Twitter why they're ruining shit. Dude, I think about that a lot, where when I'm hanging out with Erica Nicole Clark or Ed Towns, people could joke. We have fun with it.
He's getting married, that fucking idiot.
Ed Towns is getting married?
Yeah, dude. Our buddy.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, congrats, Ed Towns. Ed Towns has been on the podcast a bunch. Everyone go back and check out his episodes. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Holy shit, I'll have to send him a message.
Dude, first
good on him.
Yeah, first white girl under 190 pounds he hooked up with. Now they're getting married.
Yeah, see? That's funny. But someone, if they're just hearing that, might be like, I don't know if you're supposed to say that. I don't know if it's okay for you to make fun of your friend who he himself would find it hilarious.
Oh, and if you do Ed Towns, he'd be like, that's all you got? Like, that's so weak.
Yeah, he'd be like, God, dude, that's as weak as your last 10 minutes. Like, he'd say some shit like that.
Yeah.
You see him leaning back as he's about to light his cigarette going.
One of my favorite people in the world. I've never been more personally insulted by anyone else on the planet.
Yeah. Dude, that's great, man.
He's the best.
Yeah, because, he's fucking, man. I like and comics like that. There's something like Sam Norton who's been commenting. He's a dude that you'd be like, dude, he's a fucking garden gnome, But he would laugh at it and come right back at you. I just don't want us to lose that. Toby and I want all of the equality. We want peace. We want justice. We want all of these things. Yeah. But I don't want people to change the dynamics of normal human interaction where you can't joke amongst friends. Now, if I didn't know the person, say I just meet you and I start talking shit, then I'm an asshole.
Oh,
you have to establish a friendship.
That's the worst.
You have to establish a friendship.
If you're at like a bar or something, so you just met some guy and he's instantly trying to bust your balls, and you're like, oh man, I don't know you, and now I want to fuck your sister. I just want to do something horrible to you.
I would do that. Specifically. And then be like, hey, we bros now, dude? We bros now? You could call me bro. Look, we're bros. Are we bros now?
We bros, yeah.
I mean, that'd be gross to think about it, though. If he was like, yeah, we're bros. I'm like, dude, I banged your sister, man. That's not cool on my end. Not cool for you to be like, okay with that, right? Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that shit. But I remember hanging out with a bunch of comedians. We're at the Laugh Factory, and it was funny because it was like two white guys. I think it was me and Russ Williamson. It was Joey Villagomez and Avi Sanchez. And then it was, was it Ed Towns and Curtis? I don't know. It was a group of like 7 or 8. And it felt like, I remember someone around the room saying, oh, look, we're all well represented. Might have been Xavier Lamont. And because it was like every group was like, I think there was like 8 of us or 9 of us. Anyhow, they started giving white people shit because I guess our chicken's bad.
Dude,
there's a whole stereotype that white people don't season our chicken.
That shit drives me crazy. I'm a fantastic cook.
It's pretty hacky these days too.
It is. I find it to be so. I'm from the South. I know all about spices. I fucking season the shit out of everything I eat. And don't. Oh man, I will fuck you up. That's actually the only fight. So
isn't Cajun white people? Cajuns are white, right?
That's a mix.
Is it a mix? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know Creoles. I don't know, but I was just saying, I've had barbecue chicken and spiced chicken that white people made. Even so, the whole idea that there's no good white food. Have you not? What, are cheeseburgers not good anymore?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Stereotypes are fun, and you should joke about race, except about white people not being able to season their food.
That one, I say no.
Don't back it.
No, I'm all about the stereotypes. Like white people can't dance and shit like that. But I just thought the food one was always weird to me because it's a new one. Any of the new ones, you're going to be like, wait, is that true? I don't know. Maybe. But then I forget we live, when you live in cities and you're from the South, it's a little different,
Yeah. I love the the white people love mayo, which is true. I love mayo. I hate
mayo. My wife loves it though.
But then it's like you got to try black people potato salad. And it's like, that's just mayo and potatoes, you two-faced motherfuckers.
Is that all it is?
Pretty much. And some spices,
Yeah. No, I definitely like spicy chicken, I think is amazing.
Oh my God. Fried chicken sandwich is the best sandwich ever invented ever. It's my favorite.
I know. I started making my own because I was going to Popeyes too often during quarantine.
Dude,
because Popeyes not too far from me with the drive-through, so I'm like, I got it. That spicy chicken sandwich is so good. I remember taking a bite going, I'd kill someone for this.
Dude, I've had no lie, probably 20 Popeyes chicken sandwiches.
20? I mean, I don't know if I've had that many, but I was averaging maybe one a week. I was getting pretty close.
I've been going.
Dude, I started making my own, but you need the pickle and you need like the sauce. I can't get the right sauce.
Sam, because of her cancer.
Any of my black friends listening right now, you want to help me with the sauce?
It's a spicy mayo.
Yeah, and I'll help you buy alcohol for your next party. I don't know. We got to work together, damn it. Right? We'll get an Italian guy to order the pizza. We'll get a Japanese friend to roll some sushi. I mean, this is what we need to do.
We all got to come together.
This is why America on paper is a good idea, but it's not executed the way it's supposed to.
Nah.
You know? I remember doing a show in St. Louis. Well, way too many kinks. I was doing a show in St. Louis, and I was talking about how much I love Mexican people, and it's baffling to me. You've heard the joke. It's on YouTube, everyone, about how there are people who still don't like Mexicans. And that some guy, like front or second row, was like, he yelled "fuck Mexicans," and I had a brief moment where I'm like, "Oh, yeah!" And it was a packed. It was like 250 people. Sarah Perry was at this show, and I'm like, "Do I just ignore this racist piece of shit?" And then I'm like, "No, I don't do this to ignore that. I'm never going to ignore if someone's racist in front of me. I'm never going to ignore that." So I'd like turned, being like, "All right, let's fucking talk, dude." And I just kind of gave him shit, and he was just like, "Oh, there's too many of them," or something like that. I go, "Hey, man, just so you know."
What?
Here's what makes it. I told him, I go, "Here's what makes America a great country. You know, I'm drinking beer, right? Invented by Germans. Everyone here loves Taco Tuesday. Thank you, Mexico. Also, I noticed, sir, you're wearing a St. Louis Blues Stanley Cup champions hat. How many Americans do you think are on that team?" And the whole crowd lost their shit. Everyone's laughing their ass off. And they start yelling, two, because there's only 2 Americans on the team. The rest of them are European or Canadian. Like Canadians mostly, like 75% Canadian, then Swedish or the Finns, you know, Russians. And then he was just kind of like, because the whole crowd gave him shit. So he buckled a little bit, even though he didn't want to. Yeah. But I was like, you just like, sometimes you just need to shine a light in these racist faces. Yeah, and then they either realize, oh, I'm being a fucking asshole, or they don't. Like I had one dude on my Facebook wall who was all against, you know, the looting and stuff like that, and the riots. I was like, dude, every great thing comes from a riot. I understand you don't want someone to burn a small business that's around the block from their house. Yeah. Sure, okay, but if they want to burn a fucking major corporation or a bank, there was video of someone busting out all the windows of like a Bank of America. I'm like, yeah, fine. These are banks. They all stole from you every time they take a fucking ATM withdrawal fee. So go fuck them, you know. And they right burn all these fucking banks down. They're all insured anyway, so it's not really hurting their bottom line.
From 20 to 25, all of my overdraft fees paid for those windows. They're gonna be fine.
There you go. So fuck them, and I'm sure they'll anyway. Yeah, but you have to make some noise. The Boston Tea Party was a riot. It was destroying private property. Got a country out of it. The Haymarket riots in Chicago, thank you, 40-hour work week and labor rights and workers' rights all started from that. They like
there is a reason that peaceful protesting is illegal. It's because there's all those fucking cunts get to stand up there and be like, yeah, walk down the street, have a sign, and we're gonna keep business as usual. No, you gotta fuck some shit up, dude, so people listen.
Yeah, man. Dude, in the Bible, Jesus was flipping tables.
Hell yeah!
And that one thing, I don't read the Bible, but I saw Jesus Christ Superstar, and he got pissed.
Dude, he's flipping tables.
He's got some strength.
He's one of the miracles they don't talk about is that he was the first guy to pull the tablecloth out without any of the dishes falling over.
Yeah, JC was like, "What up?" You know. And then when he walked on water, everyone was like, "That's impressive." He's like, "You didn't see me with the flowers. This walking on water. That the still standing. That's what's pretty cool." Yeah, dude, Jesus, this depiction.
Wait till
you ever think to yourself,
see what people are doing on surfboards and wakeboards these days, walking on water. These motherfuckers are backflipping.
That's way cooler.
Way cooler. Let's see JC go wake to wake, do a 900 with a backflip.
He can never, man. Have you been skateboarding, by the way?
Dude, I bought a skateboard. I bought like a cruiser board because I was like, I'll need to, because then I can skate to the train and get to New York, which that total bust. And then I bought like an actual like skateboard to do tricks on. I've been out a couple times, but I'm too fat now. I fucking have to lose 15 pounds to fucking be able to skate properly.
But you were like a proper skate kid. You were like, you knew how to do some tricks and stuff, right?
I still got it, dog.
You still got it? All right, good to hear. Good to hear.
I'm not jumping
What's
down
the
anything.
craziest? Well, that's nice. I don't want to, I would hope old age wasn't catching up to you at the ripe age of, what are you, 29 again? 30?
I'm
Keep forgetting how old you are.
I'm 27.
You keep lowering it every time I bring it up. Earlier,
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
what are you, 28? You're like, no, I'm 30. And then you're like, no, I'm 28.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
27.
weird about your age.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like a girl in Hollywood, dude. I'll never tell.
You shouldn't. Keep that shit to yourself. I took my birthday off of Twitter a long time ago. Let me ask you this. What is the craziest skateboard injury you've ever had?
Injury? Dude, I've been crazy lucky with skateboarding injuries. Like, I've never broken a bone. Well, I've hurt stuff really bad, but I've never had any like super traumatic injuries. I've hit my head a lot, which is why I like can't do math, I'm pretty sure. And I've like, I don't have feeling in my left knee. There's like a whole section that I just don't feel. And there's like some pieces of my elbow that are floating around a little bit. And my left wrist is like completely fucked. I can barely.
Which one do you jerk off with?
My left, dude. It's a whole. I know, dude. Tragedy.
It really is, man.
It's because I've fallen on it so much. I had a friend who was studying sports medicine, and I was like, "Oh, sick. Tell me why my wrist sucks." And she was like, I like felt it. I like did this, and it's like a cement mixer in there. You can like hear it, like it's fucked. And she was like, basically, you've been dislocating it a tiny bit over and over again your whole life. So it's just going to suck for forever. And I was like, oh, well, thanks, doc. Fuck you. I hate you.
Yeah, dude, because you want like a concrete, can you fix this?
Yeah.
All right, so you've been
exercises. Like nothing.
Yeah, give me a little physical therapy here. So you've been lucky. You haven't had anything major besides that little list you just gave us.
Yeah.
Have you ever witnessed like a really gross skateboard injury?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Like people break their arm. The worst I ever saw wasn't skateboarding. It was a dude. I was like 13, and there was a kid who had like some rails and a ramp in his driveway. And then our one friend who ripped, killer, shredded. Excellent. But he got on some rollerblades and was just fucking around, right? Just like goofing off, like.
Let me guess. Someone called him gay, and that's why he fell and just wrecked his shit.
Yeah, he killed himself. No.
Yeah. No, but remember that old joke? Bill Burr talked about it in one of his specials where it was like rollerblading was super popular. Someone made one gay joke, and then everyone stopped rollerblading. Which is unfortunate because rollerblading is actually really fun.
Yeah, I used to play roller hockey.
People were childish, man. Roller hockey's great. People were childish back then. Anyway, I'm sorry. Tell me the injury though.
Oh, so then he jumped off this ramp and he landed on his heels, and then like cartoonishly like went up and then fell on his wrist and just clean break both bones, pulled his arm up, and it was like full.
Oh, that's the worst.
Flop. Oh, brutal. I can't handle bones breaking, dude. It bums me out, man.
Yeah, I broke my leg real bad, but I'll tell you this, man. The reason I was asking if you witnessed any really gnarly skateboard injuries is I had a flashback to this is like maybe like 10 years ago or so. I was driving a friend. I think he got his car impounded or something like that. And he had just gotten done watching like all these crazy skateboard like accidents on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about one where the guy, he showed me part of the video when we were at a red light. And he shouldn't have, because I get really queasy with this stuff.
Yeah,
the dude was like going down like a staircase and was trying to like grind like the railing.
Yeah.
And it just slipped out from underneath him. He lands the worst way you could land on a pole as a man.
Oh, yeah, just sacks
it. And then, like this, and then goes over, but then he popped back up right away. And he like starts to like run towards like his friend's car or something. And like the one friend's fine with the camera, like, what's wrong? And his hand is inside. Yeah, dude, his hand was inside his pants, and he said that he was holding one of his testicles outside the sack.
Yeah.
And when my friend told me like that was the rest of the video, I had to pull over because I couldn't drive anymore because I lost all the color in my face. I got faint. I thought I was going to throw up. It was the grossest shit I've ever heard. And I told him, don't ever do that again. I can't, dude. I'm weak with that stuff, man. That's awesome. I
can't handle it. Well, what people don't tell you about skateboarding is that you need to start when you're a kid because you learn how to fall. because that's like the whole.
Yes.
It's the same thing with like jujitsu or any martial art, or gymnastics, is that you know how to fall, so that 99 times out of 100 you're going to be fine. It's just when some shit goes haywire like that, and you sack a rail and you split your sack in half. Very rare, but it can happen. In the same way that you can have your fucking knee blown out playing football. So any parents out there looking for something for their kid to do, highly recommend to let them skate if they want to. Fucking teach.
But you're right. You have to learn early.
Yeah,
because it's like with gymnastics, as you mentioned. I think a lot of kids start gymnastics early because they're too young to be afraid of flipping.
Yeah,
because you asked me right now to try. Yeah, because I'm not going to try a backflip. I might break my neck. But when you're young enough, they're like, no, let us show you there's a proper way. Don't be afraid. We're here. There's a mat. And then eventually they get over there, and then they can do a bunch of flips and stuff.
Oh, dude.
I've never heard of anyone go, I learned how to flip when I was 37,
Fuck no. I had I'm afraid of heights now. I used to never be afraid of heights at all. And then I think my brain like installed vertigo in me to keep me from doing dumb shit. Like when I was like 20 or maybe 19, I did one of those canvassing jobs, where you're like the asshole on the sidewalk with a clipboard and trying to get people's credit card information to like send to, a kid in Africa. But really this fucking third party company that's hired me to be on the street takes 90% of the money. And then the charity takes, 87% of that money. And then, 0.35% actually goes to the kid. It's fucking horrible, crooked business. But I was a kid. I didn't know any better.
All charities, I think.
Yeah.
So many charities are just shit,
So we were downtown in the Loop, right on State and Washington. Fucking, I can't remember. Right by where that preacher dude who's always on the sidewalk yelling at people. That asshole. If you smoke,
that's
you're
like
gonna go to
by
hell.
State in Washington. Isn't that by the Macy's over there? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we were drinking in the office, me and my buddy. And because very responsible company, one of our boss would buy us booze as kids, right? So we're drinking a big plastic handle of vodka, just getting blasted. And we go up on the roof of this building. So we're downtown in the Loop, where we like climb a fire escape, get up on a roof. There's just a fucking ladder on a wall. We climb up that. There's another one that's even sketchier. And then we're up on this maybe 12 by 12 roof in the Loop. You can see the Chicago theater lights. It's incredible. We are shit hammered. And we decide we're going to jump off this roof, right? So it's like the way that the roof was set up was like this. It was like an L. And in front of the L is a straight up, I would say, 15, 20-story death drop. You fall down there, you're fucking dead, right? But the other roof is maybe a story down, story and a half, not that far. So I jump first, land, it's gravel. I slip out, land on my back, just like, oh, kind of sobers me up a little bit. And then I'm like, oh, shit, totally fine. No injury whatsoever. My buddy jumps after me, lands, tactical roll, perfect. He used to skate, perfect technique, rolls it out like a free runner, like parkour guy, gets up, broke his foot.
Oh, jeez. Well, the alcohol helped you too, man.
Dude,
being drunk for some reason, it relaxes your bones and shit. You don't get hurt.
Kept me loose.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking dope, man. Let me ask you this: there's a couple things I wanted to get your take on, because we kind of were alluding to it a little bit earlier with like the future of comedy and everything that's going down right now. I mean, I've been more encouraged lately because it does feel like things are going to slowly open up. Maybe some clubs will have to do some spaced out seating, which is a bummer, but it's still live comedy. So I'm really hoping it goes in that direction.
Harder, but not impossible. We've all done shitty gigs like that.
Yeah, definitely. Now you have worked with a lot of comedians over the last like year and a half too. I feel like a lot of New York comics. You've worked with Andrew Schulz. Weren't you working with Sam Morrell recently too?
Yeah. I've done some stuff for Sam.
Who else have you worked with? Name some names if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, no. Bobby Kelly.
If you can, I don't know.
Kelly,
nice. Oh yeah, that's
Bobby
right.
Kelly. I edit the video for Jessica Kirson's podcast. She's like incredible. If you see,
she's super funny.
She's so funny, so nice. She has a great scene in the new Pete Davidson movie, King of Staten Island. She fucking I don't want to give it away, but she's great. Who else? Mike Cannon, who's excellent. There's this dude Mike Feeney who I haven't worked directly with, but he's like killing it. And we talk about stuff. I've been able to work with just a ton of amazing people, and then I had a bunch of really sick people lined up, and then this goddamn virus had to shit on my whole cake.
Well, that's why I was saying, I'm like, dude, as a comedian that also is like a filmmaker, I think you're going to be in a good position coming out of this, because people are going to need you, like I was saying earlier, to step up their game, because I think more and more people are going to realize, all right, if people aren't going to go out to comedy live, how am I going to kind of like, build my own stock per se? But what with working with Schulz, who I know basically started his own studio out in New York right now, and
they're
and all those other guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, he's doing great. Every time there's over 1 million subscribers now on YouTube and everything.
Yeah, it's him. This dude Mark Gagnon, who's a young dude. He's like 22. He's a fucking genius. He's so good. And then his other guy, Alex Media, who handles all the filming and shooting, is also incredible. Those three guys, it's like the three of them do everything. They're unbelievable.
Yeah, that team is sick, dude.
Yeah.
They destroy it.
Fire.
What have they said anything about where they think the future of all this is going?
No, I haven't really been talking to them that much. I've chatted here and there with them, but they're like, they got it locked down. The three of them, they're fucking dunking. So I haven't really been in contact with them that much.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is basically because I've seen what Schulz is doing. He's kind of doing like his own version of Weekend Update with no filter, because he could say whatever the fuck he wants on YouTube and everything like that.
Smart.
And it looks great. I mean, it's shot incredibly well. It's inspiring because it makes you realize I got to step on my game like that too. So whether it's trying to create a little studio here in my basement, because I gotta remember, not everyone might, I think this is a cool background, but some people might be like, "What, he got a baseball player behind him? Come on, you gotta make it look a little bit more like you're in a."
But also, and for anyone who's listening who makes stuff, the most important thing is that your shit is funny. Like people go viral off their iPhone all day, every day, and production value is good and can help, but I don't think it's as important as people think it is. I myself have had to learn to like kind of I want to like make it like all like fucking slick and crazy cool looking, and a lot of times I got to cut all that shit out and just go joke, so it just funny first always.
Yeah, I would agree. It has to be good, because it could look coolish. How many movies look cool but suck?
Yeah, a lot.
So many suck, because it has to have there's got to be some kind of content to it.
100%.
I just think if it's, because I'm confident in the funny part, not to sound conceited or anything, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be funny. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit more focused. But you're right. Funny comes first. Just like I think with any art, music, the song's got to be good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people put too much into, last time I texted with you was about like the album cover, which, by the way, everyone, the album's out today. Last time I checked, it was #1 on the iTunes comedy charts. Feel free to pick that up. Tell your friends about it. Got the little ticker there by my new comedy album. It's called I Didn't Say Anything Bad. Available on iTunes. Also available to watch on YouTube. Also, Toby, I put it all up in clips, which because you did the editing on that. You did an amazing job. One of those clips has over 1 million views on TikTok.
Dude,
so that's pretty cool.
Sick. Hell yeah.
Yeah, TikTok I got about 20. Yeah. Dude, it is. I'm close to 20,000 followers on TikTok. It's my biggest platform.
Fuck yeah.
I got more on TikTok than anything else. So it's pretty fun.
And to all the comics who are talking shit about TikTok, keep talking shit about it so all my friends can gobble up all that real estate and you guys can be left in the fucking dust.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, because comedians are afraid of new shit. They're all, anything that's new, they're like, really I got another thing I have to worry about. And yet they're still post on Facebook 15 times a day.
Yeah,
it's
dude,
like
and it's
you're on a fucking dying platform.
And then all of them are like, yeah, the way Dane Cook saw MySpace to like blow himself up. But then all of that, I've literally talked to people who are like, I don't want to get on TikTok until I've seen that it affects people's ticket sales. And it's like, by then, it's going to be oversaturated, and you're going to be exactly where you are on Instagram, where you're going to get, you're going to think you're killing it at 900, 1,500 views, and that's not shit.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I don't know what this fear is that comedians have of things. I actually kind of like it as a platform too. I'll find videos where it's like, here's how you hang a piece of drywall. And I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of simple, or how to fix a piece of drywall.
Yeah.
And then there would be one where I actually took a stock tip off of it that's actually working out. I've never bought stock in my life, but it was a weird thing. I saw a TikTok video of like some stock guy going, watch out for this stock. I think I like the company. I like this and something or other. I'm like, oh, okay. And I just saw it going like, oh, that sounds like a good company. Then great. I saw a blurb about it like online. I go, oh, that's 2 times. And then my wife was like, hey, look into this company. And I'm like, part of me thought, all right, someone's hyping a stock because this is weird. Way too many people are hyping it. But I bought in at 20 a share and it's at 65 a share now. And that's only been a month. So
fuck yeah,
I like it anyway. But it's everyone thinks it's just a bunch of like teenage girls doing like this dance move. But no, there's more to it than that. Anyway, though, I think
is a lot of that, though.
It is so much of that. So much of that actually. Yeah, but there's some fun stuff. There's one. I have one channel I like. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, but I haven't been posting because it's like I haven't felt really inspired by anything, and I'm such a psychopath where it's like unless it's gonna be fucking excellent, I don't want to do it. So I encourage everyone to use TikTok I think it's a great new platform that people should really be going after. There's not a lot of stand up on there. I think it's excellent. I have, my buddy Mike Feeney has been killing it on there, dude. He's like you within a month went from 200 followers on there to like 40,000 and now he's at 200,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I've come across his stuff. He's really funny but it's got to be funny too. Yeah. So it definitely that's a big part of it. I think a lot of people, like you were saying earlier, they put too much on how it has to be perfect. Or I think it's instead of trying to find that one video to get 1 million, throw a bunch out there and maybe they'll all add up to 1 million views. And it doesn't matter at that point too,
I should take my own advice and post shit, but I don't. So
yeah, it definitely sounds like you should in a way. I was just wondering if you were talking to any of those
cooking.
I bet you do. I was just wondering if talking to any of those New York comics like Schultz and those guys who they seem to be a step ahead of everybody else when it comes to this stuff. So I was wondering if they knew of anything, but I think their whole message would probably be just keep putting out content. And Schultz started that show because his other YouTube shows dropping in, he couldn't do anymore because the dropping in was all about whatever town he was performing in and then him going around that town. That's over. I mean, it'll come back eventually, but so yeah, I think you have to just keep.
You got to just keep putting stuff out there and find a way to maneuver. I mean, I've had conversations with people with like big comics who were like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do now. Like all of my money evaporated in a weekend. So like, I don't know when I'm going to be able to make money anymore. So I have to figure out how to get my fucking Patreon going, how to get my YouTube numbers up, how to really get the podcast moving. Because a lot of these people who were, on the cusp of theaters, or even people who had just got into theaters, or even people who had just gotten into clubs headlining, are completely fucked.
I know. And that sucks to see because I think there's a residual effect. Like Roy Wood Jr. wrote an article where he talked about how, the people who are doing this 5,000 seats are now going to have to go down and do this many seats. And the people who are doing those many seats are going to have to go down to this. And that's why more than ever, we all have to be content machines so that we could build our own shit. And that's why, like, again, not to go back to.
People should be thinking about that instead of thinking about how to do a Zoom show with 8 people watching where they can try out their new. But I mean, also, if that works for you, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, you're fucking right. At the end of the day, whatever the hell makes you happy.
Yeah,
but we got some fans there. Whatever makes you happy at the end of the day. But I think
Hill, great guy. Very funny.
Good. Bobby Hill said what's up to you too. I think you're right though, because the Zoom shows, you're putting all this energy into them, and as soon as live comedy does come back, the Zoom shows are done. Right? Yeah, who's still going to watch a Zoom show once real comedy's back?
Dude, and I'm someone who did so many open mics, so many horrific shows, and I could see the value in that, even when it was like the worst of the worst. I just can't see the value in this is great conversation, whatever, but just telling jokes to my computer for a muted audience, I cannot.
They wiggle their fingers if they like it.
Bro, that is the lamest shit of all fucking time. That is Limp Bizkit level horrific. Just so bad.
And I guess I haven't needed to fill that void being, having a family and everything like that. And I was also fortunate enough that you got, I was able to film an hour of new comedy with you. before all this shit went down that we were able to release while this shit was going down. So I was very lucky there. Yeah, man, it's just, I had a whole plan for the rest of the year too, that hopefully I could still put into play. Like, you know, I said, people focus too much on stuff that doesn't matter. You and I didn't finish this before, but you and I, last time we talked, we were texting about the album cover. And then eventually I was like, oh, who cares about the fucking album cover? It's a cover. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? I mean, some people do. They want to put like some artistic expression on it. That's not my style. So why am I going? I found a really good picture that Sarah Larson took that looks awesome. And I put the font on and I'm like, boom, there it is. I don't care.
Chilling.
Save money, put it out there. It's
yeah.
And I haven't heard anyone say that the cover sucks. And I wouldn't give a shit if they did.
Don't overthink
you know?
shit. Don't overthink shit.
Yeah, I think people overthink stuff too much.
One of my favorite quotes is don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. It's like, yeah, hell yeah. Good enough, let's go. You know, make it as but always with the but don't let yourself let it be shitty. You know what I mean? Yeah,
don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it.
Put all your effort into it, but then don't be a psychopath about it. As I'm saying that I don't post stuff because I'm such a psychopath about it, but still, you gotta put stuff out and just make dope shit. I don't know.
Yeah, no. In the past, I would cut corners on stuff. I don't think cut corners have a work ethic, but yeah, I definitely would agree that I think a lot of it's insecurity from people where they're like, it's got to be just right. I know I have comedian friends where I'm like, how come you haven't put an album out yet? And they're like, no one's asked me to. And I'm like, so?
No one's gonna ask.
No one's going to ask. And that's what I love about music. You know, I know you're a big fan of that band Pop and stuff like that. And that's why, like, I like, there's, the flag in the background. So many, like Nirvana's first album, nobody asked them to put out.
No.
You know, so many bands. No, that's where I like the music mentality better than the comedian mentality. Because I think the music mentality, there's like a lot of good music. They don't give a fuck what the industry's telling them. They kind of do their own thing 100%. And let the industry then follow. Where a lot of comedians I know, if you're a comedian right now and you're relying on the industry fucking formula, that map where it's like I do this and then I get this, and when I get this I could get this, and then this and this, you're gonna get left behind. I really believe that because, like we were saying before, there's so many things right now where also, like, you know, we mentioned Chris D'Elia earlier. This might upset people to say, and again, no one's condoning the behavior. He's not really gonna get canceled. He has over 1 million Twitter followers. He has a big fan base. I don't know if his fan. Well, here's what I mean by canceled. He might not get a TV show again. He might not get another sitcom. Right. He might not get another one of these. But he'll be able to sell out shows. Yeah. Well, Louis C.K. still sold tickets. I'm not saying that. I'm not comparing the two. But what I mean is, when you have your own fan base, your own platform, essentially, you don't need the clubs.
Right.
He could go to a town. Like you go to a VFW hall and say, how much to rent this place? $1,000. Cool. Here's your $1,000. I'm going to go charge this many tickets and we're going to need this many seats. And there you go.
Yeah. 100%.
He can just work door deals wherever he goes. That's what I mean. I'm not saying like,
and that's something that I have to, that I'm like constantly relearning myself is that like you said, like I love Pup. I love this band, the Menzingers. They're incredible. Like I've always loved like punk rock and like DIY. But then in comedy, I've always been fighting for people to like recognize me and like give me the thing and like pat me on the back. And I have to constantly be telling myself like, or like, man, maybe one day I'll be able to work with a network and create a TV show, which I still want to do. But it's like all of the people that have been your biggest inspirations your entire life have been like preaching like, fuck these people, fuck these gatekeepers, make it yourself, do it yourself. And then it's like, oh yeah, why am I constantly still seeking that approval when it's the approval of the consumer that you want, the fans, the fan base, the audience? That's what you need to be going after. And that kind of mentality has allowed me to sort of create my own job within, you know, comedy, where I'm working with people and helping them create stuff. I'm unfortunately not creating enough for myself, but that's an easy step to take. That's a place I can get to.
but in time you will as well.
Yeah.
I think you're laying down a great foundation doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and Sam and I are about to start working on a project we're both really excited about that I think will be fun, and I'm sure we'll get you involved with it. It's a really stupid, fun idea that I think in sort of...
I'm in. Anything you guys do, I'm in. Even if it involves me. Do you want me to, you know... I'll do anything that won't get me canceled, though. You know, okay. You know what I mean?
We're gonna need.
I'll make a fool of myself. I'll embarrass myself.
A little bit of blackface, just a little bit,
just a smidge, tiny bit, enough where I could say no. It was just makeup that got put on wrong.
It was the times. Things were different in 2020.
Yeah, well, we were confused. I had COVID. I'm pretty sure I had COVID. I'm gonna blame it on the COVID.
I got COVID. I woke up in blackface. It was a crazy year.
Yeah, dude, this is a bad year for everybody. That's 2020 in a nutshell.
Oh man,
I was drunk and woke up. Yeah, man.
Dude, I thought I was sad about being 30 on December 29th. Just kicking off this new decade with just a real kick in the dick.
It is a fucking weird year, man. It is weird. I don't know how it's not going to get weirder too. Yeah, but dude, some good shit comes out of challenging times. So that's why I'm trying to stay positive with. It's hard to stay positive. So anyone listening that's like been down in the dumps, I get it.
Oh my god, dude.
Sometimes I think you have to soak in it a little bit and then find your way out of that.
I've been a bummer, dude. Straight up.
I've thought about quitting comedy every other day.
My work ethic has been in the shitter so many times over the past few months, where I went from like fucking working harder and being more focused than I've ever been in my entire life to just like, dude, let's just eat some fucking ice cream and watch literally 4 days of Chopped.
Yeah, I've had that too, where I go, look, man, sometimes you just need to do. Sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna go play fucking Mario Kart again. I gotta.
Yeah, I'm gonna get really into Call of Duty.
It's one of those things though where I've had it where I have to. You have to be proud of what you put out. I think also, if I could give that message to anybody, because we cut up my last hour, released it as a special in clips on YouTube, and it didn't do as well as the last one. I don't know why. I followed the same steps. I think maybe what I did. I think YouTube changed their algorithm maybe from 2019 to 2020, which I'm sure they did. But I did enough research where I'm like, all right, I just thought it was, I'd release the clips and I'm like, all right, that one has 1,000 views. That one's got 400. That one's got 600. All right. It was a little slow last time. And then it kind of exploded and every clip went into the, 20s and 30s and 40,000 and stuff. And that really hasn't happened this time around. So I started to get real like depressed and down about it. But then I just looked at, the people who are watching it are liking it though. It's got all thumbs up. It'll have like 80 thumbs up and like 1 thumbs down. So it's just the frustration we have as entertainers is it would be one thing if everyone saw something I put out. If I put something out and millions of people saw it and they all hated it, that'd be one thing. But the people who see my shit like it. So the big challenge is, how do I get more people to see it? Because the more people who see it, the more people who like it. And
but
then
you also said you got a million. You got a clip did a million on TikTok, which is insane.
Yeah, everything I wanted to happen on YouTube with this latest special happened on TikTok instead. I'm not giving up though. I told for a second there, I was just like,
just blame it. Just blame me. Just be like this fucking idiot.
No, I'm not blaming you because it looks better than the last one. It's shot in 4K and your angles are great. We lit up the curtain. It looks better. That's not to take away from the last one. The last one looks great too.
But it just, I just got to figure out. Back to that same thing we said, where it's like sometimes looking better maybe makes people connect less. Who knows? It's all fucking nobody knows.
Who knows? But just so like people are aware, if something has 500 views, that doesn't mean it's bad. It means only 500 people saw it.
Correct.
And if it had 500,000 views and everyone thumbs down it, that means it's bad.
Yeah, and also think about how unbelievable performing in a room of 500 people is.
Oh, definitely. I think of it that way. I think about that way with a podcast, with anything. I had a friend who had a podcast that I liked for a little while. He only went like 15 episodes, and I saw him. I go, hey, how's the podcast going? And he goes, I'm stopping it, actually. The one I just put out is the last one. And I was a few episodes behind. I was like, oh, that sucks, man. I enjoyed it. He's like, oh, you were listening? Yeah, I was. I like it. And he goes, I was only getting like 50, maybe 45, 50 downloads or listens per episode. And I go, dude, you just started. Also, if I told you every Monday night you get to do a show for 50 people, would you do it? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, look at it that way. I said, you have to enjoy it. If you're doing this podcast every week and you don't really like it and you're not getting views, then stop doing it.
Right.
People also have to be not afraid. I don't know who I heard this from, so I would like to quote them accurately. But, I got a lot of wrestling fans who listen to this podcast. Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't originally Stone Cold Steve Austin. He had like 4 or 5 different monikers that failed before he came up with Stone Cold Steve Austin. The point was he didn't give up, and he wasn't afraid to try something new. I know people who do the same shit for a decade and be like, I don't know why it's not working. I'm like, I think you got to fucking change it. That's why I said, like, you got to switch it up, do something different. I get getting down on it, and you can't. You tie yourself to numbers, and you start thinking, why the fuck? I'll see one day where I'm like, oh shit, I got 10 new subscribers today. That's awesome. And then the next day I lost 7 of them. I'm like, why the fuck? It's good stuff. Why don't they like it? Why did they stop subscribing? I don't understand. This is bullshit. Come on,
if I put out a video and it gets like 300 views, I'm like, fuck, this video is bombing. Meanwhile, some of the best moments of my entire life were for 300 people at the fucking Laugh Factory sold out. And I'm like feeling like I'm the king of the goddamn world, you know?
Yeah.
The internet is the fucking worst thing to ever happen to humanity.
It really, I mean, it's great in the sense that we could do this.
Correct.
You know what I mean, I didn't have to audition to have my own podcast. I didn't have to like submit. I didn't have to get network approval at my own podcast. So part of it's great.
Yeah, but you guys don't want to know what I had to do to get on the podcast. Talking about sucking some dick.
Shut up. Come on, are you trying to get me canceled, dude? Come on, man. Pay attention to the fucking climate out there. That'll get me fucking screwed. But that's another thing, though, dude, because when you get down on yourself, you start thinking, because I started thinking, what's the point? I'm putting all this work in, and then I'm going to come back to stand-up. When stand-up comedy opens up again, I kept going, my 2020's fucked. All the clubs that because I lost a bunch of club dates. Yeah. I was supposed to do a bunch of clubs during April and May. Those are all gone, obviously. So it's probably going to be till next April and May they get me back on the books, because say all these clubs open up in October or September, they're just going to honor the dates they already have.
Correct.
Then, like we mentioned a million times in this podcast, the bigger names are going to drop down and push out some other people. So right away, I'm like, fuck, this blows. Then you have, and what I'm about to say is going to make me sound bad, but no, it's coming from a good place. You have a lot of people now saying we need less white guys doing comedy. And I understand, and I think representation is important, but as the whitest person of all time, that does make me go, well, shit, you know? And that's also why I think D'Elia, you fucking idiot. More people are going to say less Chris D'Elias and more female comics, which, again, this isn't a knock on female comics. They're great. But that's going to hurt me in the long run. Yeah, dude. All this, like,
I don't got a problem with any comic working unless they suck ass.
Unless they suck ass too. I agree with that too. But I just know there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a wave for a while where people are like, "Hey, man, don't have room for you. We don't have room for you right now." So I started to get real like, fuck this, fuck that, you know. And I had some good ideas for the rest of the year too. I had an idea about a half-hour special that was themed. I wanted to film in the summer. You know, I had
man. Dude,
I got it. But I do have 2 YouTube show ideas that I think I'm going to still do. Maybe in July, I'll start to release this new YouTube show idea that I'll tell you off air. But you know what I'm going to do, though? I was joking with my friend last night when I was playing Mario Kart. So I have 3 albums out now. That sounds like enough to me to do a greatest hits album. Has a comedian released a greatest hits? I know there's a Weird Al Yankovic greatest hits. Maybe there's a Carlin greatest hits or something. But I think as a joke, I'm not going to – everyone listening, I'm not going to push for that album to be number 1 because a lot of you are like, dude, we already own this shit. But I think come Christmas, maybe like December 14th, I'll release – I'm going to call it Merry Christmas and Happy Fucking Holidays. You know, I'll have to bleep the fucking part. Joe Kilgallon's greatest hits. And it'll be like me holding a microphone with a Christmas hat on. And it'll just be a compilation. Maybe I'll have people vote. I'll do like a tournament on Twitter where you can do a poll, like which is your favorite of these jokes. You know, I'll do like YouTube the links and stuff. And I'll have people vote. And then like the 12 or 15 most popular jokes that'll be the album.
Damn, the greatest hits album. So it won't make funny. That's very
funny too, because it's more like, that's hilarious that a comedian would do that. Like, I don't care if it sells a bunch of copies. Yeah. I mean, I'll probably get more streams because I'll have more stuff on Spotify, so maybe I'll show up more. That's so funny. And stuff.
The 3 album greatest hits is that's so funny.
Yeah, how many albums do you need to release before you can do a greatest hits? I think 3 is enough.
And who are you to tell me what's a hit?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, dude, it's fucking hilarious, man.
That's excellent. Yeah, and
dude, Toby, man, it was so good talking to you, buddy. I hate to end it there, but I've been holding in a poop for a little bit. Dude, we gotta hang out some more. Sam Norton's having a comedy hangout thing. It's not like a show; it'll just be us hanging out on Zoom. He mentioned in the comments. He says he'll give you the link. So if you want to just talk shit with a bunch of comedians, I don't think it's gonna be broadcast anywhere. I don't think. Sam Norton said, "Joe, you got to do some fireside intros for the tracks on the Christmas album." That's kind of funny.
Yeah, or just overdub the lines in the thing where it's like, instead of being like, yeah, last 4th of July, it's like, like last Christmas was really crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. I like that shit. All right, Toby, should they just follow you on you were off of social media.
No. Oh, please still follow me though. Instagram at Toby.McMullen. MCMULLEN.
Toby.McMullen.
You got a bunch of shit up there. Go watch that shit. And I'm going to be posting more frequently soon. I was losing my goddamn mind on that shit. So I had to take a little break. But I'm going to be back on.
Totally understand, man. Everyone needs a reset. You got to recharge those batteries, kid. Dude, but man, I'll catch up with you soon, man. I'll text you. Thanks for all the hard work you did on the special. Can't complain, too, man. The album now. And shout out to James Webb, everybody. We're broadcasting on the People of Comedy page on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Hit that bell icon so you can get notifications. I'm posting videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Podcast clips, stand-up. I'm going to release the whole Toby. People were commenting saying they want the whole special. So I'm putting all the videos together and releasing it as an hour also on YouTube. Yeah, people were asking for it. So I'm like, why not?
Hell yeah.
So it's still going to have everyone's going to know when there's an end of a joke because it'll have the like, share, subscribe thing that we put in.
Fuck it, dude.
I don't care.
Let them. You got to remind these dummies.
Damn straight, dude. And shout out to James Webb for all the hard work he's been doing on the podcast network. He also mastered the audio on my album. Support People of Comedy. They've got a ton of great podcasts on the People of Comedy network. Everybody, for Toby McMullen, Joe Kilgallon, you guys are the best. Cheers. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for buying the album. Later, Toby.